right, in just a moment, we'll be joined by members of the PDP on both sides, if possible, and a legal practitioner as well, who also x-ray the issue. Because the reason I was asking her about INEC, because it's just a terrible time for the electoral umpire. When you're having all this avalanche of courts, judgment, order, just barely 24 hours. I remember vividly in the Ondo State governorship election, when we're monitoring what was playing out with the Labour Party, similar situation. Yeah. There was a Olorunfemi at one point on the as cleared by INEC, and then it was a dissentee, and then 24 hours it changed to Olorunfemi, and that's why their performance was abysmal. And these were all court cases back and forth. So whether INEC is going to show up tomorrow, I don't know which court INEC is going to obey. There's a judgment of the Federal High Court, Peter Lifu. There's the other one as well, James Omotosho. That's the two judgments. Then there's a court order pending the hearing of the substantive suit. That's your State High Court. So this is not the best time to be an INEC official. This is a big test for Professor Amoviton, who is just barely coming into office. He's been celebrated for what played out in Anambra State and all of that. Now, this is another test. This is the core of democracy, internal democracy within political parties. No, political platforms. I prefer to call them political platforms.
There to observe. So the observing is to authenticate that, the convention.
No, but they have to observe according to law.
Yeah, they have to observe. So it's still the internal politics of the party that will play out at the end of the day. INEC is just there to ensure that, okay, this took place or this did not take place.
The court says, one court says, don't go there. It's expressly telling INEC, don't do this if this is not done.
Oh my
Another
God.
court is saying, INEC, go. We will determine later these arguments. So that's a confusion.
How did this start anyway?
It's actually called interest wrangling, the inability of the political class. First and foremost, this is happening because of some fundamental problems. Our political parties are not driven by any form of traceable ideology. It's driven largely by personal interest. All of these governors who are defecting and saying, in the interest of my people, interest of my state, I see it as a lie. And I tell them bluntly, that's not true. It's in your interest. It will not kill you to say it's in your interest. It's called self-preservation, and there's nothing wrong with self-preservation. But some of them have a solid argument to the fact that because as simple as who signs your form, nomination form, as simple as that is, for you to run for an election can destroy everything for you. If the court now says, oh, those set of people that signed the form are not the right people, you suffered, won an election, and it's over. But all of this is just a question of we're not driven by ideologies. That's the so everybody can jump. You see these old people that are defecting now. Mark my words. The day that the APC loses election and is no longer as relevant as they are today, they will still defect in the interest of their people. Let's bring in our guest. Judge Turnah is the South-South Secretary of the PDP. Is one of the contentious. He actually one of those who took the PDP to court and got judgment in his favor at the Federal High Court of Abuja. Turnah, thank you so much for coming on the program. Can you hear me? Oh, if you can unmute your device, I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear a word of what you're saying. Oh dear. Okay, let's bring in a legal practitioner, Ekemini Udim, who is also joining us to make sense of the legalese around this. Mr. Ekemini, thank you so much for coming on the program. Can you hear me, Mr. Ekemini? Okay, but I can't seem to hear you. I'm not sure why. Can you hear me now? Can you speak up, sir? Okay, George, can you hear me? Mr. George?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Okay, Kevin, I'll come to you in just a moment. You know, you're the one that would separate the fights. let me say, because George is one of the fighters. Mr. Turnah, I'm not sure where you are, but despite the judgment of court that you were one of the plaintiffs that took the PDP to court, three of you, in the leadership got a judgment from Justice James Omotosho's court saying that this convention should not hold pending when all the congresses are properly done, whether it's a zonal or states. Some of the states are not done. But you're seeing the convention is going ahead. What do you make of it?
Thank you very much. I think it's important to state clearly that there is no PDP convention going on anywhere. People, of course, Nigerian citizens are very free. They have a right to assemble, have a right to freedom of movement and all of it. The governor of Oyo State also has a right to host whatever gathering. It could be PDP members, it could be non-PDP members alike. It can host Owambe gathering and all of social gathering. It's okay, but we are law-abiding citizens of this country, and it even says a lot about the leadership of the party. When we complain about impunity, people may not understand the gravity of it. But it is obvious now, Nigerians can now see. You have a court judgment which says don't go for a convention now. INEC don't give clearance for any convention. Let them go back and do XYZ. Comply with your rules, comply with your constitution, comply with the Electoral Act, and follow due process. Now, you saw in the manner in which they did some forum shopping and got an ex parte order. A judgment, a complete judgment of a court where all parties have been heard. The court made findings and entered judgment. And then another judgment again, a case of unlawful exclusion of a very senior, respected member of our party, a founding father, one of the founding fathers, Sule Lamido. And it is not a secret that Nigerians, do not know who are the aspirants to this convention. The PDP has a tradition. We have a way how we pick our forms with funfair. You can easily analyze. Newspapers, the media, print and electronic will usually analyze the chances of each aspirant because they know them. You will see our aspirants go around the country to campaign, talk to party, stakeholders, canvass vote at various state chapters and all that. You can agree that you didn't find any of those happening in the course of or build up to a convention. So we are not just talking because we want to talk. Now, the party's BOT set up a committee. This is their own BOT now, setting up a committee to make findings and come up with resolutions on a way out. And the committee, made up of very senior, outstanding members of the party, came up with resolutions, recommendations, one of which said that this convention should not go on, analyzing the implication, the legal implication, and the need for the party to be seen as a law-abiding party, a party that functions under the rule of law. But look at where we are. In a clear display of the impunity that we talk about, Nigerians can now see that even their own committee, they are not obeying. A court of law, they are not obeying. So you can imagine the frustration that we have as members of this party. But again, the good thing is that the national secretary of our party, who has the responsibility to send out notice to delegates of venue, time, and a date for convention, have clearly issued notices. I'm sure your television station and other media channels have carried that notice to the effect that there is no convention of the PDP anywhere. And we, as law-abiding citizens of this country, will stand by the rule of law. We have a judgment. We are entitled to the fruit of our judgment. And again, they went on appeal. When you go on appeal, let us assume that Oyo State High Court say you should go ahead with convention. Abuja High Court say you should not go ahead with convention. You have taken a step to appeal. Once you are before the court of appeal, court demand, the lawyer will speak to you on this when he comes on board. It is customary that everybody holds on. Once you submit yourself to the decision of the Court of Appeal, it no longer matters whether it is the Oyo State High Court or it is Abuja High Court. The important thing is that the subject matter, which is convention of the PDP, elective convention of 2025, is now before the Court of Appeal. You know, everybody is supposed to hold on and wait for the Court of Appeal to determine this matter one way or the other. What is the consequence of not going on with the convention today when the Court of Law have said so? The heavens will not fall. The heavens will not fall.
Right,
but when you travel in illegality, you now risk. First of all, you show yourself to Nigeria as a very lawless party. You show yourself to Nigeria as leaders with that travel on impunity. You show yourself to Nigerians that you have no regard for our law, our courts. You have no regard for the judiciary. You have no regard for even your own processes. Your own committee that you set up, you have no regard. You cannot obey. Of course, am I surprised? This is a party that set up a committee
if I can come in, apologies if I can come in here. You know, you've said a lot, and clearly, you know, aside from all the court cases, there's a side that says, yes, there's a side that says that this convention will go on, which is why when we spoke to our correspondent earlier on, she says, you know, everywhere's agog, busy, people are coming in and out of the supposed venue.
All Ibadan crowd.
Yeah. So let me put it like this. So, I mean, clearly there's a deep divide, and what does this say about the future of the People's Democratic Party? Probably why people are leaving?
Yeah, you see, not really. What is happening is not unusual. It's politics. You know, politics is played along interest line. This is not religious. You want to be moral or religious, you go and be a pastor, I mean, a imam somewhere. But this is politics. It is played along interest line, and the end of it is to be able to provide for a greater good for a greater number of our people. The people, at the end of the day, you know, it's what is paramount, the welfare, you know, of the people. Now, you cannot be in a party. Remember, this party is a convergence of various people from diverse opinion and, you know, background, and everybody coming together for the purpose of advancing their political interests, right, and the good of their people. So you must expect all of these kind of schemings and battling and struggle. Of course, after all, politics is a conspiracy, you know, to seize power. But the important thing is that there's always an umpire. The umpire at all times must remain neutral. In this instance, the umpire is supposed to be the National Working Committee. That is the managers of the process. But you now have problem when the umpire himself is soaked in interest, in ambition, and they are not able to do justice and provide level playing field for everybody. Just take, for instance, assuming presidential candidates are required to pick nomination forms from INEC, and then the INEC, as it were, just print one form and keep for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and every other person is shouting, Nigeria will boil. It is the obvious truth, because they are the umpire. So that is exactly what we have in our party. The struggles and the battles and fights would have been normal if the NWC was neutral, because at the end of the day, once we come out of it and conduct our convention and a new leadership emerge, everybody will collapse and begin to work for the party in the interest of our members and the generality of the Nigerian people. But in this instance, the NWC, as you have seen, is clearly compromised. They don't know what they are doing. They have missed it. And the way to go, like the BOT committee have recommended, is that a caretaker committee that will be focused and be able to provide that unbiased level playing field for all members of this party, you know, to be able to go into an elective convention whose outcome is acceptable to all of us and conforms with our rules, our laws, our constitution, the Electoral Act, and electoral guidelines.
Yeah, Mr. Turnah, I know you have a flight to catch, so I want to get as much from you as possible before we let you go. Let's talk about what the real issue here is. The real issue here, from our observation, is that there is aggressive mutual suspicion, and it's as plain as daylight. We spoke to pro-convention people a few days ago, and he said, look, I know that the judgment you got, the judgment that, I think, was it the one of Sule Lamido, His Excellency, had to do with obeying Section 82, the ground norm, and also the issue around INEC regulation paragraph 12 and 13, which clearly states on how meetings and conventions should be held. I think that should be that of the former Jigawa State Governor. But the mutual suspicion I would like you to speak sincerely to is that I know you're loyal to the camp of Nyesom Wike. And the other part is always looking at you that since Nyesom Wike has declared his interest to support the president, no matter whose ox is God, he's done that in 2023 because he felt that it's only fair that the power states comes to the south, and he wants to stay true to that conviction because he's serving with the president, and in his view, the president is doing well, and the only natural thing is to do is to support the president. But the party is an opposition party. He's in bed, technically, with the APC, supporting the president. That's what I mean by being in bed. So all of the actions you, his lieutenant or his associate, and people that are within his camp are doing are seen as efforts of those who want to spoil the PDP, to hijack it in the interest of the APC. Number one, they feel that the whole idea of your camp is doing is to make sure there's no candidate for that election. And even if there's a candidate, it's a weak candidate that will be of no significance. When you hear such argument, isn't that a valid argument?
Okay, let me say this. Let us assume, but without considering that that is the case, right? So is it enough that the Minister of FCT has said he will support President Tinubu? So is that enough reason for managers of the party to travel, on undemocratic processes, to now maybe in a way to scheme the Minister Wike and his people out so that they don't kill the party? So you now adopt illegality. You now adopt undemocratic processes. But nobody can, we are a civil society now. Nobody can even think of that. What you need to do is mobilize your numbers against us. If you have your numbers, provide a level playing field, mobilize your numbers, let me purchase form. Let everybody purchase form. When we get to the convention, let the members decide whether they want to vote for an associate of Nyesom Wike who have said he will support President Tinubu, or they want to vote for any other person. The power to vote should be with the people. It's not for the NWC to deprive me or Tulilamido or any other person the opportunity to even, promote my ambition. I have a right to my ambition. If ambitions are personal and it's guaranteed, I have a right to aspire under our constitution, which is the ground norm of the Nigerian constitution of this country. Now, let me say this to you. In 2023, there were G5, we had G5. In that G5, Minister Nyesom Wike said he was going to support President Tinubu. You know that the former governor of Benue State opted to support Peter Obi. That is within G5. So if Minister Wike could not even influence at the time his own members of G5 to all go for President Tinubu, what makes anybody feel that Mr. Wike can influence all of us who are members of this party? Yes, though we believe in him, believe in his leadership, we are loyal to the party. We believe in his leadership. We belong to his camp. We believe in him. So what makes anybody feel that he can now convince all of us to support President Tinubu? And don't also forget, PDP was the first party to introduce this government of national unity by appointing people from other parties. We also, Minister Wike, at the time he was offered this appointment, he wrote to the party. I was at the zone, I was legal advisor. He wrote to us. We approved it. He wrote to Rivers State, they approved it. He wrote to NWC. This NWC, you see so. They approved it. For him to go and serve Nigeria. The man is not in APC. I've said over and over, he's not a member of APC. He's serving the administration of President Tinubu, serving Nigerians. Bala Mohammed, His Excellency, who is chairman of our own Governor Forum, was appointed to FCT, the office of FCT Minister, under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. He was not a member of PDP at the time of his appointment. So let us not assume or presume or just say that, because we can have said so. We'll get to the bridge, we'll cross. What they need to do now, you have a duty as NWC. What is that duty? To serve members of the party in truth and in fairness. You must provide, you are not fair. You must provide level playing field. You must conform with your own rules. When they say internal affairs of the party, does not mean that you will travel outside your own law. Okay, because we are internal affairs now, somebody will be national chairman and he will say, no, I want to be national chairman for life because it's internal affairs. Nobody will take that. So this is the situation we have found ourselves. Even the committee that the BOT set up, I have forwarded you the report. You will discover in that report that one of the things Damagu and his working committee told the BOT committee was that the National Organizing Secretary was acting, doing a one-man show, and by that action he compromised congresses in a lot of states. What was our own anger? What took us to court? We said that a number of states, about 14 of them, this party have not been able to do Congress. And by our own constitution and guideline, when you elect leaders at the world level, those leaders move up to elect the next leader at the local government.
Yeah, Mr. George, my apologies. Yes, we have to come in. My apologies, totally out of time. I think we just have like 7 more minutes, so we can allow the lawyer to speak. But must thank you, Judge Turnah. I know you have a flight to catch, so you don't miss your flight and blame us for it. I know the battle is still on. Judge Turnah, South Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Even that position is even controversial.
Yes. No, it's not.
Judge, I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll catch you later.
It's always a pleasure. You know.
So we have a legal. Thank you. So we have a legal practitioner join us now. We introduced him at the beginning of the show, Kimini, to unravel this, as Jeffrey will put it, to separate the fight.
If he can.
If he can. I'm not sure even
in the next 5 to 7 minutes he can do it.
Right. So thank you for thank you for joining us. How do you want to separate this fight? Honestly, that's where I should start.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My own definition, another person.
Okay, that's for you.
That's for you. That's for you. I said you should go ahead. If you can, how do you want to separate this fight? As Jeffrey has alluded that you may be able to.
Oh dear. What's going on with the network where Ekeminodim is? We'll try one more time, Ekemini, and we hope because I know you've been waiting, and thank you so much. We needed to get the thoughts of Judge Turnah because he's a plaintiff in that case and he's traveling. But let's try again. If you can hear us, just your take on all the legal background you've seen and what the future looks like as far as the PDP is concerned.
The man needs to unmute his. He needs to unmute.
Can you unmute your device, Ekemini? I really want a lawyer to speak on this issue. 2 judgments, 1 ex parte, all on the same issue. Oh dear. Maybe towards the end of the show, we don't know. At some point, we can catch. Ekemini, we really apologize. Because your input is quite critical.
Yeah.
Because he's the lawyer, he knows better in terms of what the court is. So 2 judgments, 1 ex parte, interlocutory injunction saying go on, we'll hear the substantive case December 8th and all of this. Literally, if you follow the PDP case, you need to get a diploma in law because you see an avalanche of cases to be able to catch up with. But it is democracy. The beauty of all of this, even though we believe that the politicians are eroding the substance of democracy, but the beauty is that they are resorting to civil means of redress.
Yeah.
They're not killing themselves like we used to see. They're not, at least now it's court versus court, even though the court has been dragged and compromised, even in some cases where some of them have gotten the big knock of the NJC, but at least it's a civil process. Nobody's being killed. That's the most important thing. But we'll take a break, and when we come back, Joke,
we'll be talking climate change and its effects, and of course, that conference in Brazil.